Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the Cyberspace VR. Today, I wanted to have a little bit of a frank discussion talking about virtual reality arcades. Many of you, or many people, have this dream of starting a virtual reality arcade, or maybe their friend is looking to start one and they're asking for your help. There's so many cool opportunities with VR, and this is one of them. And so a lot of people are trying to figure out if it's a good decision, good choice. So I wanted to get into that, and I have my buddy Landon and I. We have a little bit of experience in this field, and I'll tell you why. So Landon and I, actually we were planning on starting a virtual reality arcade, and we were super close. Basically, there's only a few things you need to start a VR arcade. You need the experience with knowing how to work virtual reality and how to kind of troubleshoot when you have issues. You need enough capital, so money. You need some money to rent out a place, or have some funding for. You need probably a business loan, and you need a good business plan. Well, we had all those things aside from capital, but we had some plans on how we were going to get that. So we looked into it. We sat down and we made a huge plan. Our Excel spreadsheet was super complicated. We were factoring in everything. We were talking about where we were gonna do this thing, how we were gonna afford it, where we were if we were gonna have snacks, how we were gonna book parties, how we could raise awareness, all sorts of stuff. So Landon and I, we were both in college, and we were seriously debating starting it. This would have been last year, or 2 years ago. Was when we were thinking about really kicking it off. So anyway, we decided against it because we just didn't want to be pinned down to a lease. That was the scary part. So instead, what we did is we did parties where we went to people's homes. We brought our equipment, we brought our computer over. We figured out how to make everything mobile and set it up and did parties in people's houses. Back then, we had an HTC Vive, and we would set up base stations using tripods and the whole 9 yards. And it was awesome. We threw tons of parties and had a lot of success. We actually rented out a booth at our local Christmas event thing that we have in our hometown, and to raise awareness so that we could have these parties. Anyway, so we had a lot of success there, and then coronavirus hit, and things all kind of died down for us. But long story short, we're really glad we didn't start a VR arcade, and let me tell you why. So today, right, or back then and today, you can rent out a virtual reality system. It started out back then at about $1 a minute, but it's gone down in price, right? Because as demand has gone down, price has gone down. People have tried virtual reality and they want to play it, but it's not a novel experience for them anymore. You're mostly having returning customers. So now, before it used to cost you $3,000 roughly to get this one station going. It's going to cost you more because of the lease every month, but just your base starting cost. And so that's for everybody, right? If you want to have VR back then, it was $3,000. You had to buy a computer that could run it and a nice headset and a bunch of games, and then you could play virtual reality all you wanted. But that was your startup cost. Now, if you wanted to play VR on your own, there's this thing called the Oculus Quest 2, and as much as I love this headset, it kind of murdered a lot of the virtual reality culture, right? Instead of having a beefy PC and all these awesome games that you own and all these things, you yourself can just go out and buy this $300 device and some games for it and play just right off the bat. You don't have to build a computer or anything like that. So why, let me ask you, why would someone go to a virtual VR arcade and spend $100 for a few hours of games when they can just save up a little bit more money and go and buy their own headset themselves? This is the same reason why back in the day when consoles were coming out, like Xboxes and PS2s, people tried to start arcades with them, right? They made a little lounge and a bunch of TVs, and you paid a little fee and you could go in and play Halo with your buddies. But why would you do that when you could just spend the extra cash and just have one in your home? And that's what's happening with virtual reality. So I I just want to warn anybody that's wanting to start a virtual reality arcade that you're fighting an uphill battle, right? So you're going to have to market against the fact that people are just going to have this in their homes, and as time goes on, it's only going to get cheaper, right? It's going to have cheaper barrier to entry. It's going to be smaller, so people are going to want to just do it themselves rather than pay you to set it up for them. So I would just invite everybody that's kind of looking into this to really think about where VR is going to be in 3 years. And the truth is, we have no idea. We don't know what virtual reality is going to be like in a few years. There could still be an opportunity, but just remember that the reason why you are in business is because you're willing to drop more money on VR than someone at home is. So I would invite you to make a plan for not only having the best headsets on the market, like highest resolution, highest refresh rate, but also the best computer to run it, and any other haptics you can find. So things like treadmills or haptic vests or whatever that may be to get you set up and running so that you can be successful and be different than the next guy, right? So that's why what's going to draw people to your arcade is the fact that you are different. You have spent all this money on this fancy gear that they can't afford themselves, right? So you're looking at a $5,000 investment just for some rudimentary kind of cool haptic stuff, and then you're going to be limited to only the games that can handle that, and that's going to be a lot of technical know-how. So really, truthfully, I believe that the Oculus Quest 2 is the virtual reality lounge, virtual reality arcade, whatever you want to call it, killer. You are not going to see these popping up anymore because of this headset. $300 is just such a low entry that everyone's going to have one in the next 10 years. Everyone is going to be using VR very much. We've seen it grow into not just the people that are the early adopters. It's being more and more accepted. People were buying these for their kids for Christmas, all sorts of things. So yeah, one other thing that could happen and maybe you could think about is taking the Quest 2, buying 20 of them, seeing if there's some way to set it up so that you have a commercial license for those games, or a game, one game or something like that, and putting them on, like having 15 of these and taking them to like corporate events and putting them on people or whatever. But that's going to require a little bit more of booking know-how, and it'll be interesting because not everybody wants to buy one of these or whatever, but it'd be cool to set up an event, kind of like laser tag, right? So the appeal behind laser tag is everybody's involved as opposed to just one person, and so if you have like a bunch of these and a bunch of different setups for it, then laser tag would be cool. So anyway, that's the video talking about VR arcades. Let us know in the comment if you're a VR arcade owner or if you're thinking about doing it, what your thoughts are on everything that I've talked about today. I know it's kind of a tough pill to swallow, but I think it's really important that we have this discussion. So leave a comment, drop us a like if this helped you make a decision, or whatever have you. And please subscribe. We're going to be coming out with a lot more content, a lot more news, and a lot more analysis on the VR industry as a whole, and things that you can do to better, embrace it, because it's the future. So this is the Cyberspace VR. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.